it's all there. And so we get more efficient at being humble is what I would say. We get more efficient at being humble. If there's a strong point that I want to make with Shayne, and he has a strong point, you know, we have these strong points that we both believe in. Sometimes I'll just say, maybe this means more to him than it does me, and it's not that big of a deal. And so I acquiesce to Shayne, or sometimes he acquiesces to me, and we've gotten really good at trying to figure out, is this really important to be arguing about? Sometimes we have standstills, not very often, but sometimes we have very different views on some things.
Where I'm right.
You know what I'm talking about. But somehow we still kind of, we negotiate. Like we're very different on how we should charge for things. Shayne's very generous, and I tend not to be as generous.
Here's the key, though. So in any good business, like I don't want a bunch of people around me in my business that just agree with me.
Yeah.
Right. That's not that helpful, honestly, because if everybody, then we're only going with my ideas, and what if my idea is terrible, right? And so it's good to have some opposition or some different ideas thrown out, and if you're going to make it as a couple, if you're going to make it as a business, then you need to be open to that, to feedback. So one, do you pay attention to action?
Yeah, so it's about building rapport with someone, noticing if they're uncomfortable around you, and how they begin to kind of follow your movements. You notice they're comfortable once they start following or mapping you, right? And it's kind of interesting to see. You can cross your legs or uncross your legs, and the person in front of you will cross their leg or uncross their leg when they're in rapport with you, because then you know, okay, they feel safe with me. Until that point, you don't really know. You want to figure out, how can I help them feel safe in my presence? How can I help them feel respected, and like they can come to me or talk to me or say what they need to say, and I'm going to honor it, kind of like I was talking about a minute ago. Yeah, and so just noticing, are they following me? Are they mapping me? If I scratch my chin, does the other person scratch their chin? We subconsciously do these things when we get into rapport with one another. We feel kind of as one, like on some level we're at one with one another. That's a nice place to be.
So I think people actually do have some sense of intuition about body language, like but I think it's paying attention. So if if I'm with you, like I'm looking at your eyes and I'm paying attention to you, then I can get a sense of what your body language means just by doing that. Now there's cultural differences too, so you have to acknowledge those. And so if somebody's from a different culture, as an employer, we've been employers, we don't employ as many people as we used to, but as employers, we used to own a home care agency, and so we had 50 something employees. And the way somebody needed to hear the message was very different, right? And so we needed to adapt so that we got the result, right? So if you wanted an employee to follow a certain rule, and some of them just needed some positive reinforcement, others needed some training on, like go over and show them, others, so we just did whatever was necessary, as long as they were amenable to following rules. Then we just needed to figure out what they needed in terms of getting them into the right position. So as a leader or employer, you just have to adapt. Yeah. And same thing in your relationship. You adapt to your partner all the time. And so sometimes people say, well, I didn't marry the right person because, they would know these things or get these things or whatever. And the truth is, there's no perfect match that they're going to understand everything you say or think or do, or every body language and all of that. We just have to learn and adapt to each other all the time. And even though Dre and I've been married over 20 years, we're still learning. And we're getting better. And I'd say that it's